right now than it was about 3 hours ago when it was raining here at Taylor Field in Regina, and it looked as though it was going to be a wet night. Ken Lazaruk is the referee in charge of tonight's game, and he and the other members of the officiating staff are ready to move into position to get this game underway, with the Stampeders' J.T. Hay preparing to kick off to Saskatchewan. Tim McRae and Albert Brown are deep for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, standing at their own 5-yard line, as J.T. Hay will have that wind gusting across the field. It may be to his advantage right now, but this wind at Taylor Field does have a tendency to gust and not remain consistent from one direction. McRae will take the kickoff at the 12-yard line. He finds a hole. 58 yards for Tim McRae before he was caught by David McCrary.
Well, Coach Gregory said before the game that they would come out with blood in their eyes, so to speak, one of the old cliches. But the way Tim McRae is running, I mean, 2 or 3 guys had chances to bring him down. He was running straight for the goal line, and they did a great job of getting him through that first wave.
1st and 10, Saskatchewan. They are at the Calgary 41-yard line. A fake to Milson Jones. Burgess throwing to the sidelines, and it's complete to McDonald for a first down.
That's one of the things that the Saskatchewan Roughriders came into the game wanting to do. Get the ball to the wide receivers. They felt they were getting inside too much. Well, we saw McRae get this game off to a good start. Burgess, we said, needs some consistency. Excellent set of receivers. The only change on the whole roster all year is Kearse and that offensive line. They've been together a long time, so they should have a pretty good shot at moving this offense.
1st and 10 from the 24, and McRae gets across the line of scrimmage and picks up about a yard before being stopped by defensive end Stu Laird.
Well, the Calgary defense had 14 sacks, 6 of them last week. Stu Laird's a guy that's been coming on. After a slow start, he started to play well, and that's made him stronger. The big key is Ken Ford. He has made the big change, according to Coach Kuharich, because of his enthusiasm. And in the secondary, he has high praise for Derek Taylor.
Taylor made his debut just 3 games back against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 2nd and 8. Burgess is going to try and run it. He won't get a chance as he's brought down by Quincy Williams. He was looking initially, I think, for Fairholm.
Well, they put those 3 receivers out and sent Fairholm in the slot up the field, trying to get a linebacker to step up to throw in behind him, but the Stampeders didn't bite for it. They just hung in their zones, and they played it very well and forced Burgess to pull it down.
Quincy Williams fighting off the block and getting to quarterback Tom Burgess, forcing the Roughriders to send out their field goal unit, and Ridgway will attempt a 30-yard field goal. It's good. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are first on the board with 13 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Well, coming off that 48-10 loss a week ago, John Gregory said he and his team was looking forward to this game because they got beaten so badly over in Calgary, and they wanted to avenge that loss, while Coach Larry Kuharich of the Calgary Stampeders felt that this game would be different and that his team would realize it. He also made a comment that they didn't use all the plays they had put into their game plan against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He suggested maybe we can use the other half tonight.
That's a normal situation. If you got something going, don't change it.
Terry Baker kicking off. Holloway starts out from the 15-yard line. Saskatchewan got a big return from McRae, and Calgary gets one from Holloway before he's brought down by Albert Brown. Not quite as long a return for the speedy Holloway as McRae. That run back of 35 yards. McRae's was 58, but still excellent field position for the Stampeders. They are at their own 50-yard line. Rick Warman leads the Calgary offense, 1st and 10. Tim Petros takes the pitch, and he attracts a crowd. About 3 of them, led by Eddie Lowe and Steve Crane, bring him down after an advance of about 3 yards.
Well, that's the big key for a linebacker. If those defensive ends will make them turn back inside, then they're in the position to make the tackle. That's why you call it a sweep. You want to go outside with it, but if you can't, you turn into a lot of traffic.
John Gregory rotates those 4 down linemen. He has 5 who are capable of starting. He believes in sitting each man for about 12 minutes to give him a rest. Vince Goldsmith is the designated sitter to start the ball game. Worman's sideline pattern is intercepted by Magruder. He fumbles the football, but I believe the Roughriders recover at the 40-yard line.
You know, teams get into tendencies, playing certain defenses on certain downs. And on a second down situation, Saskatchewan's had a history of playing a man-to-man defense and blitzing. This time they drop to the zone. You see at the bottom of the screen, they drop out of there, only a 4-man rush. He misreads it, and look who's standing there waiting on it, the corner, right in the flat. So another big play for Saskatchewan and a chance to take a big lead.
That's something John Gregory said they would do, try and confuse Worman by showing him some different looks. Milson Jones, the ball carrier, to the 36-yard line. That will be a gain of 4, make it 2nd and 6. Magruder, the interceptor, and he ran it back 25 yards.
I remember Magruder in the first year he was here. He was getting worked over by a lot of teams in the league, but we've talked about how tough it is to play the corner. If you can get through that first year, each year you'll improve, and he's gotten to be pretty good.
Many times on those corners, it's like you're on an island.
You're all by yourself.
Burgess completes the pass to Elgard, and Elgard continues fighting, and he's down to the 20-yard line. Finlay and Jeffers, the 2 linebackers, came over to make the tackle on Ray Elgard, but he provides Saskatchewan with a first down at the 20-yard line.
Saskatchewan took advantage of another thing that the Stampeders do. They drop to a zone defense, and when Elgard breaks to the outside, he finds the hole and then just stops. And you'll see the room for him. That forces the linebacker to have to come out there on him, and also number 20 Majors. They'll converge, but he finds the hole in the zone.
That moves Ray Elgard ahead of Tom Campana on the Roughriders all-time receiving list. Burgess was looking into the end zone, but the man he was looking for, Fairholm, was well covered, and Harold Hallman was able to bring down Tom Burgess at the 20-yard line.
The last 2 times Burgess has been sacked, it's not the fault of the offensive lineman. He's had time to throw the football. The coverage has been so good, he's been forced to hold on to so long that eventually you're going to get sacked.
Fairholm comes out, James Ellingson goes in. That career catch for Ray Elgard was number 264. 2nd and 10. Burgess lobbing it over the middle to Milson Jones to the 5. The safety, Greg Peterson, made the tackle. Tom Burgess signaling to the bench that he wants the short yardage unit.
Throwback pattern. That means Jones goes up the block. You see him sneak out underneath the backers. Watch the block by Elgard coming up right here. That gets him far enough down, get inside the 10, 1st and goal.
The Roughriders with that short yardage offense. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. 9:34 remaining in the quarter. Milson Jones, touchdown. Brian Ellerbron with a key block to get Jones outside and into the end zone.
Saskatchewan lined up in a full house backfield, 2 halfbacks and a fullback. Both of the halfbacks go in motion. They do that to hold that middle linebacker, make all those defensive people stay in place, and then they come to the strong side where they have an extra blocker here, and as you say, Illebrun makes a good block. Jones gets up the head of speed, and you're not going to stop him with a yard to go. He just falls in.
You may have caught a glimpse as Ridgway tries the point after of that tape on Milson Jones' right hand. That's to cover up an injury incurred in the last game. The kickoff right after this.
In the past couple of years, there's been a trend on the part of athletes to get their hair dyed the color of their team. Have we got one for you? Lamont Jeffers has got one better. He has got the Stampeder horse carved into the side of his head. His buddy Bruce did it, but he did most of it himself. The Stampeder horse on the side of his head. Match that one, Ron Lancaster.
Ron Lancaster and I don't have enough hair to do those sort of things, but what he has done, he has had a stencil placed over there and has cut his hair through that stencil. Petras taking that screen pass. And he has a first down to the 33-yard line, stopped by Steve Crane.
Well, the thing Rick Warman is, if you're going to get pressure from the defensive line, the Saskatchewan defensive line felt coming into this game they had something to prove. They're going to get after Warman with everything they got. So you throw a couple screens, that makes them honor it. They can't, that has to slow them down a little bit, and that's what quarterbacks like, slow down a rush.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line with 5:28 remaining in this opening quarter. Petros on the handoff. Stopped at the 30-yard line. Jurison and Albright, I should say, were both there to make the tackle.
Well, this is the series that we talked to the coach about today. They like to run a quick trap, a sweep, and pass off the same action. This time it was the sweep. McVeigh goes up and blocks the defensive ends. They pull that guard, and then they try to get Petros around the end of the corner with the football. This is a series they really count on, so they have to make it go.
Rick Warman's success against Saskatchewan, 2 wins last year, and of course that 48-10 triumph last week. Warman slips as he drops back to pass, throws complete to Tolbert, touchdown. There's a penalty flag at the line of scrimmage. Tolbert bounced off Mike Magruder, but it might be brought back.
Holding, Calgary number 61, 2nd down, repeat it.
Tom Spolatini guilty of that holding infraction. And that wipes out a Calgary touchdown, bringing the ball back to the 40-yard line. But now it's 2nd and 17.
Yeah, that was a well-executed play. You saw Rick Warman almost slip and fall, and he comes up and throws a strike. Glenn Suter gambled on an interception and missed. And when they gamble like that, a lot of times the result is a touchdown. But it doesn't count, so they can try it again.
Plays like that cause coaches to turn prematurely gray. Warman throwing to the end zone. He's got his man open. Touchdown as Willis got in behind the defender. And undeterred by that holding call, Warman comes right back to fire the touchdown strike to Larry Willis.
Harry Skipper fell down on the corner. Willis went down and made a move like he was going to go to the outside to the sideline. And when he turned to go upfield, Skipper fell. And as a result, you see the result. Willis wide open. No one near him. Just a sprint out, man-to-man coverage, and Skipper falls down. And when that happens, there's not much, no one can help you because they have their own man to watch.
In behind the defenders by a good 10 yards, and Larry Willis has the Calgary Stampeders right back in the ball game. J.T. Hay with the point after, and the Saskatchewan advantage is reduced to 3 points with 4:21 remaining in this opening quarter.
Take another look at it. It's a sprint action because Saskatchewan's blitzing from their right side, so Warman rolls away from it, and when a cornerback falls down, the receiver starts laughing. All the quarterback worries about is don't overthrow him. You'll see the blitz coming from the top of the screen on the reverse angle. He just gets away from it and buys enough time, and that's the whole key. When you blitz, you go man-to-man, and when you get big plays, we talked about it in the opening, anytime you go after a quarterback, you put your secondary in jeopardy of being beaten deep, and it happens.
Well, Larry Willis was anxious to acquire one of our CFL on CBC hats. If he's going to continue that way and catch footballs in the end zone, he could very well be chosen our game star and acquire one of those cherished CBC hats.
If he would have asked me, I'd have given him one anyway, even if I didn't have one,
Well, the way this game has started, it could be a high-scoring affair here at Taylor Field in Regina. McRae will return this kickoff. Remember, he took the opening kickoff back 58 yards. He can't find the hole up the middle this time and is stopped at the 28-yard line. 63 yards on the kickoff, 16 yards on the return.
They were talking about Saskatchewan's quick start, 3 wins in a row. They're still a young football team, and a lot of times young teams will get off to the good starts, and then when they fall, it's a long way to come back. It's how fast do you recover from the disappointments. Same way the game starts. They started fast. Now can they maintain it?
Burgess fakes inside to Milson Jones. Throws deep, intended for Fairholm, incomplete. He was being covered over there by Derek Taylor. Fairholm momentarily appeared to have a stride in behind Taylor, but the Calgary defensive back recovered.
Well, I think throwing into the wind took it away. He had him beat by a step, and when you got the wind with you, you throw it in front of him. The wind's blowing in Burgess's face right now, and he couldn't get enough on it. But Kaharick was telling us today about the difference in his defense right now is Derek Taylor and Ken Ford. He said they run around, knock people down. He said, and it's rubbed off on everybody else, and our enthusiasm's great.
They lead by example. 2nd and 10, the drop play. Milson Jones fumbles the ball. He managed to get it back at the 25, but he was stopped right there by Quincy Williams.
Well, this is just a mix-up. Quarterback to the fullback. Turns to hand him with the draw. When you don't look, Burgess didn't really look it in, so when you don't do that, sometimes you hit him on the hip. You hit him on the hip, and he's not going to be able to hold it.
Well, the Saskatchewan punt return team has fared much better in other games this year than they have so far in this game tonight. It was the big return, remember earlier, by Holloway that put the Calgary Stampeders into scoring position. Terry Baker kicking into the wind, has it go off the side of his foot, and not a particularly good kick. It's out of bounds right at midfield.
Well, you get out here on the prairies, Don, you know that wind is always a factor, and right now it was blowing right in his face. And if you don't hit it real solid, coming off there with a lot of force, that's the end result. It's going to flutter and bounce out of bounds or hit the ground somewhere.
Just 29 yards on that kick by Baker, and it will be 1st and 10 for Calgary at midfield. You see the Canadian ensign blowing in the wind out of the east, and it's unusual in Regina to see an east wind. This is McVeigh, and McVeigh has a gain of about 8 yards. Something that Calgary does that most teams don't do, they utilize both backs in much the same fashion. Many teams operate with a tailback and a blocking back.
Yeah, they have a running back, so to speak, and a blocking back. The fullback's usually the blocker, the tailback carry. They don't do that. They both block, they both carry the ball in the same place. They're harder to keep.
This time it is Tim Petrus. He gets the first down inside the 40. Stopped there by linebacker Dave Albright. Andy McVeigh threw a good block to lead Tim Petrus around the corner.
That's just what we talked about. On the play before, Petrus blocks for McVeigh. Turn around, now it's your turn to block for Petrus. He does the job.
And at the start of our telecast, we talked about the workload that McVeigh and Petrus have shared this year and how successful they have been in the last couple of games. McVeigh this time can't get away from Gary Lewis. Vince Goldsmith also had a hand in that stop. There are many people who regard Gary Lewis as perhaps the most underrated defensive lineman in the league.
Yeah, you know, Bobby Jurison gets a lot of ink, and James Curry talks a lot. But a lot of the people, and I'm not talking about people in Saskatchewan, we're talking right across the league, as you said, feel that Gary Lewis is very, very underrated and may be the best for that entire front four.
And he enjoys playing football here in Regina.
Boy, sure does.
1:35 remaining in this opening quarter. It is 2nd and 12. Warman throwing deep for Emmanuel Tolbert, and he overthrew him. It was out of bounds as well. He was being covered by Joe Fuller. So 3rd down and just a little better than 12 yards actually. And it could be a field goal attempt by J.T. Hay. Or will Glenn Harper come into the ball game? It appears as though Glenn Harper is going to punt the ball on 3rd down, and no, J.T. Hay is out there. Harper holds for him at the 49-yard line.
It's good.
It's wide. Fuller's going to run it out of the end zone. Stopped by Holman at the 23-yard line.
Don't be lateraling that football. Looked like Fuller was looking around the lateral. Don't make that mistake down there. We're going to take a look at a replay, Don, if we can see it. Look for the laces on the football. They should be right into the picture. You can't see it at this angle. Now, the kicker will tell you it's not a good hole because the laces are not facing the goalpost. And a lot of times, the laces on that side, the ball's pulled that way. You know, I don't know if it's true, but kickers say that.
Kickers are a different breed anyway, aren't they?
Oh, well, you know that. I always say kickers, quarterbacks, and corners are your 3 weirdos on football teams.
This is Tim McRae out to the 35-yard line with 37 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Derek Taylor was there to make the stop.
Well, this is what they need to do. You know, their first series, they move the football. The second series, they move it, and they haven't moved. Look at Illiburn going up through there. Find somebody to hit Illy. McRae will run over him. He's running hard.
1st and 10 from the 35. Throwing deep for McDonald, and that ball, I think, hung up in the wind.
Burgess threw that with everything he had. He's throwing into that wind. He just couldn't get it down. He doesn't have enough gunpowder.
But I think John Gregory has to be pleased with the way his team has performed in this opening quarter, operating against the wind, leading by 3, and they will next have the wind at their back after this play.
Well, you say 10 points in the entire game up in Calgary. They get 10 points in the first quarter. You have to be pleased.
McDonald wide to the right on 2nd and 10. Burgess under pressure and is caught by Lamont Jeffers after the initial pressure by Eugene Beliveau. And that is also the final play of the opening quarter, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders will be kicking with the wind to start the second.
A couple of weeks ago, Saskatchewan's James Curry was quoted as saying, "Hey, you want a commissioner? Why not me?" Tonight, he taped this to his shoe and his leg. I guess he believes in the adage, it pays to advertise.
Well, Steve, he may be advertising, but I think James Curry has as much opportunity of being commissioner of the CFL as you have of being elected prime minister. Your chances are probably a lot better.
Better. They're a lot better. I'll guarantee you that.
Third down from the 32-yard line, and the third down punt by Terry Baker with the wind takes a bounce and will go out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Got to turn it over. He didn't turn that one over. You say turn it over. When you hit the football, it goes up. The point goes up, and if you get a great punt, it turns over. That one didn't, and it hung. Wind knocked it down.
46 yards, the length of that kick. The Roughriders with an advantage in the first down department, but in yards passing as the result of that big strike from Rick Warman to Larry Willis. The Calgary Stampeders have the edge in passing. Well, let's see how Rick Warman operates now, throwing into that stiff breeze. Tom Burgess had some difficulties in trying to throw deep against it. The attempted draw play to McVeigh, and McVeigh slipped. This is something the Calgary players were concerned about when they were testing shoes on this turf prior to the game, and following a rather heavy afternoon downpour is the new turf here, Omni-Turf at Taylor Field, is rather slippery.
Well, it is a little bit slippery. You see Jurison coming in to get on the play. Now, if McVeigh doesn't slip, the tackle stays with the end, gives him a good push, and then goes upfield. By then, the ball carrier should be gone, but when he fell down, that allows Jurison to get in on the hit. But you're right, it is slippery down there. Last game we did here, it was dry and was a little bit slippery. It'll be that way for a while because it's new.
Petros takes that swing pass, gets away from Eddie Lowe, and then is stopped by a horde of Rough Rider tacklers led by Bobby Jurison at about the 32-yard line. That's the line of scrimmage.
Second down, 14 yards. Saskatchewan just drops to the zone. Now, go ahead and throw the ball to the back. We know we can get up and stop him before he gets 14 yards. And you're going to see 2 green jerseys show up. First one misses him, then Jurison gets in there along with Fuller. They bring him down, no problem. 14 yards on that kind of play is asking a lot.
Hall is the lone man back for this third down kick by Glenn Harper. An excellent kick into the wind as Hall goes back to his own 35-yard line, gets one block, and then is stopped by Billy Jackson, the ex-Saskatchewan Rough Rider, at the 45-yard line. 13-14 is the time remaining in the first half. Well, there was a time when head coaches in the Canadian Football League always wore the headset, and they were in communication with the 2 assistant coaches upstairs. But more and more, the head coaches are going away from wearing the headset. Actually, Mike Riley in Winnipeg and Bob Abilovich in Toronto are the only 2 who still wear it. I think Kaharick and Gregory are in some danger if they wore a headset. With the amount of pacing they do back and forth in the sidelines, they would certainly get themselves entangled. But the belief, Ron, I think, is that they have to make the decisions, and they can't be discussing various other components of the game while attempting to make those decisions at the sideline.
That's exactly what it's all about. You know, allow your offensive and defensive staffs to work.
Burgess trying to throw, and he is dropped by Quincy Williams for a loss. Back at the 37-yard line. Again, good coverage downfield by that Calgary secondary.
It looked like Fairholm was open quick. But all of a sudden, when Burgess took the look for him, there was a white jersey show up just to the right of the screen. It looks like he's open, but the linebacker will appear, and now you can't throw the ball. There he does a wise thing, pulls it down, tries to buy some time, but you're going to run out of time. You'll get sacked. That's just good defense.
On their last 3 possessions, the Roughriders have been forced to kick on 3rd down. Unless Burgess can convert this 2nd down play, they'll be kicking again. Conrad takes the throw, but he doesn't have enough for a 1st down, and the punting unit will come onto the field.
You know, Don, you're talking about the headsets. If the head coach would wear and talk to the offensive coach upstairs, so to speak, he will get involved on the offensive side of the ball, and as you say, not be able to think ahead to make decisions on whether they go for it, whether they should kick it, whether they try a field goal. I really believe there should be 3 headsets on the sideline, and the head coach should have one that he can click a button and listen to both offense and defense. That'd be an ideal situation.
12:07 is the amount of time remaining in this 1st half as Terry Baker stands at his own 30-yard line. Trying to angle it out of bounds, and again he succeeds. An excellent kick by Baker as it bounces out at the 18-yard line. Kicking with the wind, a little easier for Terry Baker. That one traveled 52 yards. He had one into the breeze, just go 29 yards.
Good snap, good blocking. No pressure up the chute. That's where you don't want the pressure. A little more than you should get in that. But the big thing with one man back to return it, the field is so wide. You kick it away from him, he can't get it. He got the good bounce. That's a good net yard for Saskatchewan.
10-7 is the score. Saskatchewan leading Calgary as John Williams tries to get to the outside. He's a new import added to the roster of the Calgary Stampeders for this game, and he's stopped by Glenn Sutter. Williams, out of the University of Wisconsin, 5'10", and he packs 223 pounds onto that frame. He's solid.
Very solid. At the press conference yesterday, I thought it was good when they asked Harry about bringing in an import running back like Williams and then naming Billy Jackson as a DI. You're going an import short. He said, I don't get into Americans and Canadians. I just play my best football player. That's a great answer, and he's working Williams in slowly. He may never start. Who knows? But that's not important.
Incomplete. It was intended for Tim Petras, and Calgary will be forced to kick. Richie Hall was back defending against Petras.
Again, they drop zone on 2nd and long and force them to dump there, gambling and saying to them, you're not good enough to get 8 yards on a swing pass on 2nd down. That's good theory, good philosophy.
Saskatchewan should get this ball back in very good field position as Glenn Harper will be kicking into that breeze from his own 5-yard line.
Maybe
just
going
one man
after
back,
this.
Joe Fuller. And the Riders were going after it. There are flags on the play as Fuller takes it at his own 45. And Hopkins is the first to make contact with him. The ball is fumbled. And I think the Saskatchewan Roughriders managed to recover. That was a 45-yard kick with 10:42 remaining. There were flags on the play. We'll sort it out for you when we return. There was a procedure call against the Calgary Stampeders, so John Gregory told his team to send them back, have them kick it over again. Good kick again by Harper, and Fuller takes it at the 50-yard line. Good block by Magruder, and down the sidelines, Fuller has some room. Upset at the 20-yard line by the kicker, Glenn Harper.
Well, that's a good indication right here of what drives coaches crazy. You know, that's an unnecessary penalty. When you're on the punt team and you're supposed to be the end man on the line of scrimmage, be the end man. So instead of getting a turnover with a football on that fumble, watch the return. They get the wall set up. Fuller again, who fumbled just the play before, makes a great return behind some great blocking, tries to cut inside and hurdle a man. Right here, Harper makes the tackle, but look at the difference in field position.
A 41-yard run back by Joe Fuller. Burgess quickly trying to take advantage, screening to Denny Ferdinand. And Ferdinand gets inside the 10-yard line, very close to a 1st down, stopped by Eugene Beliveau.
Interesting today talking to Coach Kuharich when he was talking about how you evaluate people. He likes this particular player. He says Denny Ferdinand is a stud. He says, I like the way he runs. Makes the cut inside, looks like he's going to get away and gets pulled from behind, takes a pretty good hit, but he is a good football player.
Well, Ferdinand had some injury problems, and he had quite an interesting trip when he came west from Montreal. The Calgary Stampeders thought they had him at one time.
Yeah, they had him hid out in the motel up there, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders found him, brought him in here and signed him, and he's wearing green and white.
You know, you talked about how upset Coach Kuharich would be with that procedure call. The first time that Harper kicked, it traveled 45 yards, and the Roughriders lost 3 on the attempted return. That time, the kick traveled 44 yards, but Fuller returned it 41.
Yeah, see, that just drives coaches crazy. You know, you get the kick away and make a big play, and it's taken away from you on a mental mistake.
Milson Jones up the middle. He is stopped at about the 7-yard line. David McCrary was there to make the tackle.
That play is designed to go off tackle. They pulled all dag. They come around there and make it look like it. But the running back has the final say. He decided to cut inside because when they pulled the guard, the linebacker ran out of there. He just ran to daylight.
Ball is at the 6-yard line. First and goal, Saskatchewan. Seems to be some confusion on the part of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They've got 5 seconds to get this play underway. They just make it. And I think Burgess simply called for that ball to avoid having a delay of game call assessed against him.
No doubt about it. When you see the huddle break and guys starting, all of a sudden half of them are coming back, something was called improperly, and with that time count running out, Burgess went up and took the football. So at least they don't lose 5 yards. They stay there. They have second down. They send their passing unit back in the game.
8:39 is the time remaining. The Riders leading by 3 and threatening to add to that advantage. Second and goal from the 6. Conrad and Ferdinand in the backfield, but Burgess will try and throw. He underthrew Elgard in the end zone.
Calgary Stampeders crossed them up, went to a zone defense in their own end zone, and Ray Elgard made the right move. He turned to the outside on the hook pattern, and Burgess didn't get the ball there. We said before, some things aren't a quarterback. That's his fault. I mean, he was open. You've got to hit him.
Ridgway will be attempting a field goal. He had a real string going. As a matter of fact, in a game here at Taylor Field earlier this year, he equaled his own league record, splitting the uprights 8 times. And this is his second field goal of the game, increasing the Rough Rider lead to 6 points with 8:07 remaining in the first half. Riders came into the game leading the league in sacks with 24. They have upped that total to 25 as James Curry got to Rick Warman. Curry was aided by the slippery turf here at Taylor Field.
Well, you look at Curry one-on-one right there, shoves the offensive guard Mike Colombo back, and when the fake draw, he was already by him, so Warman couldn't fool him, so he's in to make the sack.
Second and 20, Calgary. Warman throwing deep, looking for Holloway. Incomplete. He was being covered by Joe Fuller, and right in front of that Calgary bench, you know there are going to be some protests. The players there claiming that pass interference should have been called against Fuller, but there was no flag.
Well, Larry Kohari came running about 15 yards to get his say in. When you're that far backed up, Saskatchewan anticipating a pass, naturally, they just drop deep. So if you're going to throw it deep. Down the sideline, Holloway looked like he was going to make the catch, and maybe there was an arm on him, but the referee didn't see it, so it's not interference.
Glenn Harper kicking this time from his end zone. Another excellent kick, but this time it does hang up in that wind. It's taken by Richie Hall at the 45. And he is stopped at the 39-yard line by Ken Ford.
Well, Ken Ford's the guy they got in the trade for Scott Flagel from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Larry Kohari was talking about the way he plays football, that he runs around and hits people. He's good on special teams. And this kind of enthusiasm is what he felt his defense needed.
You know, we saw the haircut of Lamont Jeffers. Number 41, Ken Ford, wears a rather interesting haircut, but when he was traded to Calgary, he had to remove those Tiger Cat stripes from his hairdo. Austin on the reverse, gives to Fairholm. Aldrag out in front trying to block, but he couldn't get him across that 30-yard line for a first down. Stopped by Derek Taylor.
Well, Aldrag comes around on it. He makes one block. 2 white jerseys picked one. Fairholm hurt his ankle a little bit on that tackle, but you know, you come around that corner and you have a guard, you know you're going to gain some yards, but 8 yards. We hope Fairholm's not hurt.
Well, there are 2 young Canadians who are expected to vie for that Shenley Award as Rookie of the Year. Jeff Fairholm, one of them, the other Orville Lee of the Ottawa Roughriders. Milson Jones gets the first down, following some blocking on that left side with David Conrad also helping. and he gets to the 28.
First down.
1:58 is the time remaining in this first half. Milson Jones started his CFL career with Winnipeg, was subsequently traded to Edmonton, and then this year acquired by the Saskatchewan Roughriders when he failed his medical in Edmonton. Draw play with Milson Jones. Matt Finlay comes in to make the tackle at the 24.
Finlay doesn't look very big, but he's 225 pounds in his third year. He was drafted by Montreal a few years ago. This is his job, stop the draw. He drops back as soon as that ball's handed off. He should arrive. Him and Stu Laird both get there.
Of course, the Stampeders miss the presence of Bernie Morrison, their veteran middle linebacker, who is out with an injury, won't be returning until the 17th of September, so that means he'll have been out of the lineup for 6 weeks. Pass is complete for a first down, and it is Ellingson who makes the catch inside the 15-yard line.
Ellingson seems to be getting better every year. Coach Gregory is very pleased with the way he's come along. Came out of the Richmond Juniors, and on this particular pattern, they clear the outside, and it's just up to Ellingson to find a hole, and Austin found him.
And they've nicknamed him the Duke.
The Duke. I wonder why.
McRae takes the pitch. He runs into a wall of red and white jerseys led by the middle linebacker, Finlay. 1:01 is the time remaining in the half.
Well, Calgary's dodged a couple of fellas down here. They played most of the second quarter in deep in their own zone. They got their work cut out for them with a minute left. This is the biggest play of the ball game so far. Second down, about 7-8 yards for that first down and a minute left.
Ken Austin replacing Tom Burgess in this second quarter. Austin throws into the end zone, incomplete. It was over the head of Tim Kearse. I think actually Kearse was a little mixed up there in his pattern, and part of it may have been the result of the defensive back who was covering him.
Yeah, that's excellent coverage by Hopkins. And the big thing on it, when a wide receiver's going to run it out against real close coverage that Hopkins has, the quarterback tries to anticipate his time to turn outside and let it go. Well, Kearse took a little bit long to turn around, and the result, the ball went by. He really didn't have a chance at it. Didn't see it.
David Ridgway with his third field goal attempt of the ball game. There was concern he would even dress for this contest because of a back injury. He puts it through, and he's 3 for 3 on the night, and the Roughriders now have a 16-7 advantage. Well, when you talk about the all-time CFL leaders in field goals, a name that immediately springs to mind, obviously at the top of the list, David Cutler. Lou Pasaglia wasn't that far back. Bernie Ruoff, Jerry Organ, Don Sweet, J.T. Hay, Trevor Kennard, David Ridgway. So of the leading field goal kickers, 4 of them are still active.
He's got a long way to go, but the way he kicks the football, he'll knock a lot of points off every year.
Sideline pattern to Emmanuel Tolbert, but he was out of bounds. Fuller was over defending. 35 seconds remaining. Larry Kuharek, during the course of a game, does a lot of pacing at that Calgary bench. This is his first full season as the Stampeder head coach.
I never had a chance to really talk to him in the last year and a half since he's taken over with the Stampeders. It's been nice visit with him today. I'll tell you, he has a lot of things to say, and he doesn't mind saying it.
A very opinionated man, and many things he says make sense. Pass is complete to Emmanuel Tolbert. Warman got that one away even after slipping as he tried to set up and almost going down.
You know, we say sometimes that a quarterback sack, it's his fault. The offensive line did a great job right here because he slipped, he got up, he looked, he pumped. Watch him. He's got a lot of time. The offensive line does a good job. Now he's down, now he's up, he looks, he pumps, and finally he throws a football. He's got to have 5-6 seconds to do that.
Back to the live action, sideline pattern. Holloway has a first down.
Pass is good to Derek Holloway.
At the 35-yard line with 20 seconds remaining in the half.
You're going to play man-to-man coverage on a guy like Holloway, and they talk about his speed. We've heard everything from 4.2 in a 40 up to 4.3. It's fast. I don't care how little or what you want to say about it, but they better give him some room. So give him the short ones. Don't get beat deep with 20 seconds left.
2 plays, and the Stampeders have traveled 40 yards to put themselves in scoring position. 1st and 10 from the 35 of the Roughriders. Warman throwing deep, and it is incomplete. Looking for Larry Willis again. And there's going to be a penalty assessed against James Curry, a late hit on Rick Warman.
Yeah, he got there a little bit later. He could have got him just as he was getting back to the huddle. That ball was in the air and halfway down the field when he hit him. That's a good call by the official. And I'll tell you, the offensive line has to protect that quarterback when a guy hits him late. They're going to say something to him.
Well, James Curry has, deservedly or not, a reputation of a cheap shot artist.
And, you know, you get that reputation, you're going to get called a lot. And he deserved this one. This play, this
Roughing the passer, number 78, Saskatchewan. 1st down, Calgary.
Those are the kind of penalties that we have set many times really upset a head coach.
Well, when you look up on the clock and there's 14 seconds, they're into the wind. The chances of kicking a field goal from where they weren't very good, but now they're in range.
Well, they're also still alive in a drive for a touchdown. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. 3 receivers to the right, and that's the way Warman is looking. He throws to Larry Willis. Willis one-on-one with the defensive back. Gets away. He'll score. He eluded Harry Skipper for the touchdown, but there's a penalty flag back at the line of scrimmage. It could be called back. Just 5 seconds show on the clock. Unnecessary roughness against Saskatchewan, so the touchdown will stand, and it appeared to be James Curry again. And that pose pretty much tells what Coach John Gregory is thinking.
Well, very much so. You know, they should have been able to get out of this half with no points. And as a result, they don't give up the field goal, they give up the touchdown.
So now J.T. Hay will attempt the point after out of the hold of Glenn Harper. It's a 16-13 ball game. Just 2 points separate the teams now with 5 seconds remaining in the half.
Got a little action going on down here. Let's take a look. 14 seconds left. Warman definitely wants to go to the end zone, but he can't. He gets the ball to Willis. I thought for sure they was going to tackle him down here. You see Skipper missed the block. Here comes Suter, but he made the big mistake of letting him outside, and with only 6 yards to run, he got there in a hurry.
Larry Willis might yet get that MVP CFL on CBC hat.
Well, you got to earn it a little bit, but, you know, if he's bigger than I am. If he wants to have it, I'm giving him mine.
Even if he isn't selected, you can give him yours after the game.
Well, that's a disappointing thing, because that penalty now will be marched off on the kickoff, so we're going to kick off from around the 50-yard line.
I think John Gregory might have some words when the team retreats to the dressing room 5 seconds from now. This kickoff will come from the 50-yard line. The Calgary Stampeders right back in it when it appeared as though Saskatchewan was going to go to the break with a 9-point lead. Might J.T. Hay attempt a short kickoff here? Yes, to the sidelines. Who's got the ball? Saskatchewan says they've got him. The officials confirm.
5 seconds left and kicking from the 50. Ideal time to try the short kickoff. You would do it from the 35 because with the wind, Ridgway's in field goal position, but that's a good gamble right there.
It was Bill Henry who covered up that football. 2 seconds remaining in the half. What will Kent Austin attempt on this final play?
Well, if he's not going to just try to throw it 75 or 80 yards and just kill the clock, I'd say he's going to kill the clock from where he's lined up his wide receivers.
Yes, when you have 4 people behind him, that's a pretty solid indication that he is going to kill the clock. He drops to one knee, and that does end the first half, but there is some more pushing and shoving going on. Hallman and Aldag pushing and shoving. Quincy Williams trying to act the role of a peacemaker, and he succeeds in getting the players apart, and they head off to their respective dressing rooms. However, words are still being exchanged, but nothing more will develop. 16-14, the halftime score. McKay preparing to kick off to start the second half. Albert Brown and Tim McRae are back for this kickoff. The Roughriders will have the wind at their backs for the third quarter. The kickoff bounces to McRae at the 22-yard line, and McRae is brought down at the 32. The tackle made by Derek Taylor, a 10-yard return after a 53-yard kickoff. And Kent Austin is going to continue as the Saskatchewan quarterback. Statistically, in the first half, time of possession rather interesting, 5 minutes longer for the Saskatchewan Roughriders than the Calgary Stampeders. They were inside the 20-yard line 3 times, however, and only managed 1 touchdown. Good fake by Kent Austin. Now he's going to run it. He fumbles the football, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders' Roger Aldag covers up. The fumble was created by the tackle of Quincy Williams.
Well, he ran a bootleg pattern. You'll see him make the fake to the back. They pull Roger Aldag. All right, that's your protection. Now, he doesn't like what he sees, so he runs, but he doesn't put the ball away. So when you come from the back, it's very easy to cause a fumble, and that's what Williams did. Aldag just happened to see it.
Williams has played well defensively. He's out of Auburn. He played with the Stampeders for part of the 1987 season. Nelson Jones will get the first down. Matt Finlay, the linebacker, came in to make the tackle at the 45. And again, Roger Aldag made the block to open the hole for Milson Jones.
You block the tackle down and pull the guard around, just get a seam, and then Aldag comes through the hole. He's not looking for anyone in particular. Anybody in a different colored jersey will do.
Tim Kearse, wide right. 1st and 10, movement at the line of scrimmage. It draws penalty flags. And McDonald is the target. The pass incomplete, and it will be a procedure call against Saskatchewan.
Yeah, the left tackle, I think it's Ken Moore, moved early, and when he moves, that guy standing on the line down here, that referee, he's got a good view of it. He threw the flag.
Procedure, 64 Saskatchewan, decline. 2nd down.
Ken Moore, 64, the left tackle, right here, moves before the snap. 5-yard decline at 2nd and 10. You're going to give him 1 shot at that first down.
Finlay, the linebacker, is coming. Belleville there as well, and the pass incomplete, intended for Ray Elgar.
Elgar was wide open, but at the last minute, Derek Taylor ran in front, and just his hand in front of the face, he lost sight of the football because he was open.
So Holloway drops back for the 3rd down kick, along with Tony Dennis. The Roughriders leading by a margin of 16-14. At one point in that first half, they had a 16-7 lead. It appeared as though with about 35 seconds left in the half, that's the way it would end. A couple of good passes by Warman, plus a penalty, enabled the Stampeders to go for the major score. Tony Dennis takes the high kick and fights his way out to the 28-yard line, and he's brought down by Rick Clausen and Dan Rashovich. That was a 54-yard kick and a 16-yard run back.
Well, this is the quarter now that Herrick will want Rick Warman to ball control him. This is what we talked about earlier, learning how to play quarterback. You have the wind in your face. Let's move the football, eat time off so that we know how we sit going home in the 4th quarter with the wind at our back.
Herrick, when asked by a reporter yesterday about the 2 games the Stampeders have won, said they don't make a season any more than the first 3 we lost.
And he's exactly right. With 18 games, there's a lot of football left.
Tim Petrus takes the pitch. He is across the 35 to about the 37-yard line, and the man who has him is Rick Clausen with help from Bobby Jurison.
You know, Don, we've been expecting Fuller and Richie Hall to blitz a lot tonight. That's been the Saskatchewan tendency. But talking to Coach Herrick today, he said when they blitz, they have a way of picking it up, and that puts them in a bind. And we have not seen a halfback blitz from Saskatchewan in the first half, and that's unusual. And
John Gregory countered by saying that he would try and give Warman some different looks in the game tonight. There's another penalty flag, and James Curry has decked Rick Warman again.
We're going to get a holding call this time, though. He must have got there in time.
It is a holding call against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but that was close with Curry decking Warman.
Yeah, he was coming. You know, when you sprint out like that, you can't see what's coming from behind. And if you can get close, John Gregory telling him, decline it. We need the football. You know, we got to utilize it.
Declines. Third down.
Sean McEwen, the right tackle, 6'5", drafted out of Western Ontario. He's been around and finally getting a chance to play. You know, he was a defensive lineman in college, but it takes a while to learn to be an offensive lineman.
So 6, and Glenn Harper stands at his own 17-yard line. Just one man back. Joe Fuller takes it at the 40. And Darcy Cobb is there to make the tackle at the 46-yard line with 11:34 remaining in the third quarter. A 7-yard return.
Keep the good times going, starring Bud Light.
Great game, eh, Bud Light?
These are good times, my friend, but we need some ladies. Can I have the clicker? There's the bait. Hello, gorgeous. And here's the switch. Sorry, friends. There will be no sausage party here tonight.
The easy drinking taste of Bud Light.
Keep the good times going.
One of the all-time great receivers in pro football, Fred Biletnikoff, and on July 30th he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. He missed the game involving the Calgary Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Attempted to get back in time for the game, but was unsuccessful. He works with the receivers, and Tim Kearse, the receiver that Kent Austin was attempting to hit for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah, Biletnikoff was another one of those receivers that couldn't run. He just caught passes and scored touchdowns, but he didn't have a bad career, did he?
Well, as you can see, it has started to rain again here in Regina. As a matter of fact, a week ago, rain interrupted the game between Calgary and Saskatchewan at McMahon Stadium. Austin's sideline pattern incomplete, intended for Tim Kearse again. Hopkins was over there defending, so it will be 3rd and 10.
Getting outside that rush, he got outside with a lot of room, but good coverage again by Hopkins, forced him to throw the ball low and outside. That way, if the receiver doesn't catch it, nobody does, and nobody caught it.
Dennis goes back along with Holloway. Dennis a little deeper actually than Holloway, back at about the 14-yard line. Holloway stands up at the 20. Harper kicking with the, Baker kicking with the wind. Holloway takes the ball, looks for a block, can't get to the outside. There are 5 Roughriders there to cover him. A 49-yard kick and an 8-yard return.
Fans wanted a roughing kicker call on Baker that time, but once his foot comes down in contact with the ground again, they can go ahead and hit him. With, like, you can't rough him, but you can hit him, and the guy didn't really try to hit him. Watch him. The ball's kicked. It's away. The foot comes down. He held it up there a little long. It should have been down. The referee signals no penalty.
That was Greg Reynard who made the contact with punter Terry Baker, but no penalty. And the Stampeders take over at their own 23, 1st and 10, trailing by a score of 16-14. Fake to Petrus, and there's the screen to Petrus, and Petrus will get a 1st down.
Pass is good to number 12, Tim Petrus.
Seems funny again. Warman got a big rush last time. They came right back, throw a screen. First half, they got pressure on Warman on one particular play. Next play, throws a screen. Okay, little fake to draw to Tim Petrus, and then he just sneaks out. Catches the screen pass with the lineman in front of him. Gets a good job of blocking. Bob Poley leading the way. And he, as you say, 1st and 10.
The ball is at the 38-yard line. Draw play with McVeigh. James Curry is there to make the tackle, and there's also a penalty flag on the play.
Well, you can almost bet holding by the referee to throw it. He stands just behind the defensive line, and that's what he's watching for.
9:37 remaining in the quarter.
Holding. Calgary, number 57. First down repeated.
Center Bob Poley, an ex-Rough Rider, a graduate of the Regina Rams, missing from the Calgary roster earlier in the year. And they certainly missed his presence, not only for his physical skills, but also for his leadership.
Yeah, he's one of the leaders. In fact, when they lost that game to Hamilton up there for their third straight loss, he decided it was time to get them together. They had a nice big party, and everybody got to know one another, and now they've got things on track.
Steve Crane, the linebacker, was blitzing, and he got to quarterback Rick Wormel.
Well, we haven't seen any blitzes from Saskatchewan tonight. They've been dropping into the zone. All of a sudden, a surprise. Here he comes, and he gets through clean.
For Steve Crane, his second sack of the year.
Watch him. He's coming right up the middle. He came on a stunt, came between the Garden Center, and nobody touched him.
An Acadia grad. Number 2 draft choice back in 1985 by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He forces the Stampeders back to their own 18-yard line. Petros trying to fight his way up the middle, but he can't get away from Bobby Jurison. And the Stampeders will be giving up the football, and Saskatchewan should get it back in pretty good field position with that following wind at their backs.
Second down and about 35. The chances of hitting that first down against the wind, not very good. Go ahead and waste it. Run the football. If he breaks it, that's fine. If not, that's 20 seconds that you're using up that Saskatchewan doesn't have. But punting from the 5 or 10-yard line, they should have good field position.
Richie Hall will take the ball at the 50-yard line. And Hall is stopped at about the 47. With 8:15 remaining in this third quarter, a 4-yard run back. First and 10, the ball is at the 27-yard line. Hand off to Milson Jones. And Jones is stopped by linebacker Ken Ford.
Pull Aldag and Ken Moore around on that counter up through the hole, but Ken Ford stepped right in and made the tackle.
Ellingson comes out. Fairholm comes into the game. Second and 6 for Saskatchewan. Austin's pass is complete to Ray Elgar. That will be a first down, Saskatchewan. Major and McCrary were over there defending against the Riders slot back, but he made the catch, and the Riders drive down to the 12-yard line.
Well, Austin's been waiting for this chance to play football when the going is tough. He's throwing the ball hard and on target. Has a well-thrown football, good coverage, but when you run the pattern and the ball's on time, it's very tough for a defender to stop it. Ooh, he took a pretty good hit, didn't he?
First and 10, Tim McCray gets the call to the 10-yard line.
Number 14's Tim McCray.
Derek Taylor came up from his halfback position with help from the linebacker Ken Ford to make the tackle.
3 for McCray. Second and 7.
We talked about the fact Saskatchewan has been inside the 20-yard line 3 times with just 1 touchdown to show for their efforts. This will be the 4th time that they've been inside, and they hope to convert this one into a major score.
Yeah, they're facing that second down and 8 again.
Derek Taylor is the player who is down. Calgary defensive back has performed very well.
Really well. You know, they're really happy with him, but the big thing was the Greg Peterson will just move to halfback. Darcy Kopp will come in at the safety position. You know, they went on the end of the season hoping Peterson could play halfback and Scott Plago would play safety, but they just found out that Peterson's a better safety than he is a halfback. And when Derek Taylor came along, Coach Garrett's very happy with his play.
Coach Garrett was talking about the play of Peterson and pointing out some of the statistics as far as tackles and big plays he made from that safety position last year, and they are impressive.
Boy, they sure are. I mean, they said that he was their leading tackler coming up the field. Now, he usually is the deepest man on the field, so he's getting up there in a hurry.
Darcy Kopp is into the ball game in place of Taylor. Ken Austin looking over the middle, complete to Conrad, but he won't make the end zone. Lamont Jeffers prevented him from scoring, and he's also stopped short of a first down. I think they brought him down at the 4.
Well, they like this play. They clear out the zone from the reverse angle, sprint. Now, Conrad will sneak back across underneath the linebacker. He makes the catch, but they come up and make the tackle. Ken Ford in 99. What's he doing back there? Lamont Jeffers, 95, makes the tackle. But that linebacker's got to come up, otherwise he goes in. 3rd and 1.
The short yardage unit is in there. The ball at the 4-yard line. 5:25 remaining. Nelson Jones gets the call. Did he make it? No!
He made a mistake, Don. 3rd down and 1. You go straight ahead. Don't bounce it outside.
So the Calgary Stampeders come up with a big goal line stand. Lamont Jeffers making the tackle.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat, the RV. ShamWow holds 20 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just does the work. Why do you want to work twice as hard? Doesn't drip, doesn't make a mess.
John Gregory has to be thinking about missed opportunities, and Larry Kaharick has to be wondering if his team can hold off for another 5 minutes going against the wind.
Gave too much ground. He started up in, and then when he bounced outside, he had to step back to do it, and that's all Lamont Jeffers needed. He made 2 big tackles, one on the Conrad to keep him out, and then on a 3rd and 1, a big, big play.
1st and 10. The Stamps back at their own 5-yard line. McVay takes the pass and picks up about 4 yards. Good fake inside to Tim Petrus to buy a little extra time.
Just dumps it out in the flat. Good play action. I think they're a little bit surprised, going against the wind. They're anticipating you running the football, not gambling. He came out throwing, got 4 yards.
4:43 with the clock running, the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. 2nd and 7. Hand off to Tim Petrus. He won't get the first down. He had to get up beyond the 15-yard line. He was stopped at the 14 by Eddie Lowe. And I think this is far too risky for the Stampeders to gamble, although they have made no decision yet to send in the punting unit.
I think they're going to look at it first. It's very close the way they have it lined up over there. If it's any more than 1 yard, kick it. If it's less than 1, go get it. And I know it's a risky situation, but you know what? Well, this is a long yard. I'll tell you, if that marker is right, this is a long one. But, if you're going to go at midfield, 1 yard, you should make it. We'll see.
Big 3rd down gamble right here for the Calgary Stampeders. Tim Petrus. Goldsmith made the tackle, and I don't think Petrus made it. Let's see where they spot the football. Well, if they spot the football up beyond the 15-yard line, he did make it. And the referee, Ken Lazarek, signals it is a 1st down.
Boy, watch the play coming at the left of your screen. Number 70, Vince Goldsmith, hits him in the backfield. You would have thought he was down. He kept his balance and got to the 15-yard line, 1st down. That is excellent offense because he was hit 2 yards deep.
3:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. McVay, the ball carrier. Good run up to the 32-yard line. Coach Kaharick was talking today about getting that ground game going. He said that makes the passing game work, and they are going to try and stay in the ground against the wind.
Oh, there's that trap. Spolatini coming across on the trap. Traps out on number 70. Bang, hits it inside. And he was talking about McVay's great vision. Good runners not only run with their legs, they run with their eyes.
17 yards, the gain by McVay. 1st and 10 from their 32-yard line. McVay to the outside this time, but he's being chased by Lewis, and Lewis managed to get a hand on him, and then Magruder came over to help along with Crane.
Tell you what's coming. We know the other play they have off this series is that bootleg. I think it's a naked bootleg, but if Warman does it, so far no one's gone with him. He hands it off. Now he goes outside. He's tipped it off because he didn't try to hide anything. But that's a good defensive play by Lewis, and a little bit of help from his friends come up there to make the tackle.
2nd and 10 from the 32-yard line. Gorman passes complete to Dennis. He's stopped at the 40-yard line by Suter. And Eddie Lowe, and he will be short of the first down, and this time they will be kicking.
They took another minute or so in those 2 plays off the clock. They're down to 2:20. That's the big thing. Right now, you tell them, hold them, defense. We get the wind in the fourth.
And, of course, rather than stand in his own end zone to kick on third down, as he would have been had they not gambled back there at the 15, they are going to be launching this one from the 30-yard line. And another good pick into the wind by Glenn Harper. It's taken by Fuller. And the tackle is made at the 27-yard line by Ken Ford and Jay Christensen. A 46-yard kick and a 1-yard run back.
We're going to take a look at Harper this time. Now, Harper kicks it, but watch this. He's going to get touched, but watch him. A little bit too much. You know, you're not going to get very many calls when you do that. Oh, it's worth a try. If you get one, it's worth it.
Trying to attract the attention of the official, hoping for a flag, but none was thrown. 1:57 remaining in the third quarter. 16-14. The Roughriders clinging to that 2-point lead. Milson Jones up the middle. He'll get a first down to the 40.
Milson Jones carrying the ball.
Milson Jones takes that handoff in the backfield, hits straight ahead, runs into his offensive line, and you can almost hide then. Then all of a sudden the hole opens and he hit it.
13 yards for Milson Jones on that scamper up the middle. 1:27 with the clock moving. The Roughriders 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Here comes the blitz. Ford almost got there. And then Kent Austin, who was flushed out when he saw Ford coming, is stopped at the 40 by Eugene Beliveau.
Well, I would say he anticipated a snap count about as well as you can, because he hit that seam on the run, and as you say, almost got him. You don't see that too often.
Okay, it's 2nd and 10 on the 40.
Ford, since joining the Stampeders, has been on a winning team each outing. He'd like to make it 3 in a row tonight. Austin can't find a receiver, decides to run and to stop at the 45. It will be 3rd and 5. Matt Finley came in to make the tackle. Austin replaced the starter, Tom Burgess, in the second quarter of the ball game. And Coach John Gregory decided to go with Austin in the third quarter.
Well, we said in the opening, we were talking about the keys for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, that John Gregory wanted more consistency from Tom Burgess. He started quick and then flattened out, so give Austin a chance. You know, he came in here last year and was the starter, was the only healthy one they had left, and competed hard in camp, just didn't win the starting job.
Baker kicking with the win. Excellent punt. Holloway retreats to his own 5-yard line. And he won't get beyond the 13. Brasovich, who works on those special teams along with Bill Henry, restricted the return to 8 yards after a 65-yard kick by Terry Baker.
Well, we said before, when he kicked a couple of them with the wind, he didn't get that nose to turn over, and as a result, they're short kicks. He turned that nose over that time, and it took off for him nice and high.
But John Gregory has to be concerned that his team did not score any points in this third quarter with the win.
Yeah, you know, it's a psychological lift to the Calgary Stampeders when they turn around and it's only trailing by 2 points. I always figured you're going to be down at least 7 more than you're down before. You'll give up at least 7, maybe 10, but they didn't get anything, so Calgary's going to get an emotional lift in about 10 seconds.
Petros inside for a gain of about 3 yards. Vince Goldsmith was there to make the tackle, and that is also the end of the third quarter here at Taylor Field, with the Calgary Stampeders still trailing by 2 points. Well, despite the fact that they have been kicking into the wind, the two punters, Glenn Harper and Terry Baker, have both done pretty good as far as their average goes, each with 9 punts. Baker with a slight advantage. Some of his kicks he's been attempting to angle out of bounds and has succeeded, sacrificing distance for no rundown.
Those are acceptable averages. The key is how many yards the return team's getting, but those are acceptable averages. Nothing wrong with those.
Crane was attempting to blitz, but Calgary picked it up, and Tolbert takes the pass from Mormon out of bounds in front of Richie Hall, and that should be a first down.
Hold him.
But it will be brought back by a holding call against Calgary.
Didn't even see that flag. I didn't see it come down at all.
Anyway. Face mask. 57 Calgary. Second down, repeat it.
Face mask. That's why it was late.
Bob Poley was guilty as the ball is placed back at the 7, make it the 8-yard line. It will be second down Calgary, and they have 16 yards to go. Penalty half the distance to the goal line rather than the normal 10 yards. Holloway, the target, couldn't hang on to the throw.
Well executed pattern, good blocking by the offensive line, good delivery. Should have caught the football. He found the opening, and Warman found him, but he didn't hold on. Come with a 4-man rush, steps up. Now you should step up in the pocket, which he does. Watch the ball, right where it should be. He just didn't hold it.
The Roughriders, if they should win this ball game tonight, would move into a first-place tie in the West with the Edmonton Eskimos. The Eskimos winners last night over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Richie Hall will field this punt at the midfield stripe. Ooh, he was decked by Ken Ford in the vicinity of the 48-yard line, but excellent field position for the Roughriders when we return. Although it may be a little difficult to see, Bobby Jurison sports custom-colored cleats. He had the rising sun emblem from his bandana reproduced on the toes of both shoes. That's the bandana he wears. And he had his 6th quarterback sack to lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders in that department. Just a few plays back, Tim McRae trying to run the football, stopped at the 11-yard line.
Tim McRae's the ball carrier.
Indication of just how tough these two teams have been defensively tonight. There have been 21 punts in the ball game, 11 by Calgary, 10 by Saskatchewan.
They just lined up and beat them on the line of scrimmage. That's where you win and lose football games, is up there anyway. Look at the number of white jerseys making the tackle on the line of scrimmage.
Second and 10 with 7:53 remaining. Calgary's going to get the ball back unless Saskatchewan can convert. An excellent field position. It was intended for McDonald, and Chris Major just got a hand on it. Major has played well.
He really has. He's sitting out in the zone, in the flat, and then the receiver goes into the hole. He is lucky that he got the hit on that ball because that was a completion, a well-thrown ball, but the one hand got in there and took it away. Calgary should get good field position now, and that's the name of the game right now. Larry Kraharic said yesterday at the press conference about this is a different game. It's another war, and it has been, 16-14.
And Terry Baker is punting from his own end zone. Holloway and Dennis are back. Here comes some pressure up the middle. He just got it away. Ball bounces to Holloway at the 43. He's at the 40 and then driven back by Eddie Lowe. But this offensive series for the Stampeders will start at the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. A 30-yard punt and a 3-yard run back with 7:16 left to play. Holloway makes the catch, gets away from Harry Skipper. Jurison comes over to make the tackle, but it appears as though Holloway has a first down.
I'll tell you, they're starting to get some pressure on Warman. They're getting close to him almost the last 4 or 5 times he's throwing the football. The defense, as you say, are dominating the ball game. Here comes the pressure. All right, he steps up into the pocket. Eddie Lowe gets there, and then Curry comes in and just kind of bumps him, doesn't use his hands. Very wise.
One of the reasons that Saskatchewan had difficulty getting to Warman last week is that he was getting rid of the ball in about 2.1 seconds.
That's awful quick. You're not going to get many sacks when that happens.
Petras up the middle, and he is stopped at the 22-yard line. 6:32 remaining.
You know,
Gain of 5, it will be 2nd and 5.
You know, we said about this stage in the third quarter when Saskatchewan was moving the football to John Gregory wanted to put that ball in the end zone very methodically. Take your time, no mistakes. Now the tide's turned. Now Kraharic saying the same thing. We need to put it in the end zone.
One setback, 3 receivers right, 2nd and 5. Warman throwing to the sidelines, and Willis, who has scored 2 touchdowns, provides Calgary with a first down, caught by Harry Skipper. With the moisture on the turf here at Taylor Field, you can see in some areas that it might very well be rather slippery.
Yeah, it's like that on all of them. That's just the green goes one way for 5 yards and any other way. So that it is a little bit slippery looking from this side.
First down from the 15. The handoff to Petrus. Big hole, and then it's closed as Rick Clausen came over to make the tackle. No, that is Dave Albright with the tackle rather than Clausen. Clausen appeared to have him by 1 foot.
He needed to beat Albright. If he would have got by him, he just walks into the end zone, but the middle linebacker, again, responsible for the draw.
This is only the second time that the Stampeders have moved inside the 20-yard line. They got a touchdown their first try. They'll get another one. Larry Willis with his 3rd touchdown of the ball game.
Saskatchewan dropped into a zone. Willis read it, turned right back to the outside behind Harry Skipper and was wide open. That's a good pattern by the receiver. You hear him talk about route adjustments. He goes downfield, reads the defense, then he goes to the open area, and he found it. Right in between 2 green jerseys. Reverse angle, Warman sees it, and he drills it. He didn't lay it in there. He threw it into the hole. And look at him, right behind the corner and in front of the halfback. Good pattern.
So the Stampeders have the lead for the first time tonight, and the point after by J.T. Hay makes it a 21-16 ball game. And Larry Willis with a 3-touchdown performance. I think he's got an even better chance now of getting that hat.
Yeah, he told us yesterday at the hotel he wants one of those hats.
Our producer, Doug Sellers, said to get the CFL on CBC hat with the emblem on it, he had to earn it. Well, he's played well tonight with 3 touchdowns.
Get 3 touchdowns every time a guy wants a hat. Every coach in the league is going to call us. Be an incentive clause in the contract. A little bit of low angle shot for the quarterback. Gets back in the pocket. Lots of time this time, and he drills it. He didn't lay it up. Most times when you throw that pattern like you call a flag or to the corner, you lay it up a little bit, but he drilled it.
He said that the Calgary Stampeders have the lead for the first time in the ball game, and it comes at a most opportune time in the ball game with only 4:50 remaining. Nelson Jones on this kickoff return, taking that line drive from J.T. Hay, and he is stopped at the 47-yard line. Christensen and Dennis were there to make the tackle.
Pretty good field position to start, though.
The Roughriders have had good field position a couple of times in this 4th quarter, but haven't been able to do anything with it.
No, they just haven't been able to put those first downs together. And, you know, many times you've heard us say, and coaches will tell you, football's a game of first downs. Put them together, you'll eventually get a touchdown, and they haven't done that.
And twice they've gambled trying to convert on 3rd down, 3rd and short yardage, and they haven't made it. Incomplete pass. Elgard the target. He was being covered by McCrary. And it will be 2nd and 10.
Secondary for the Stampeders played very well tonight. That's pretty good defensive play. I know Coach Gregory's upset, as are about 20,000 fans, or 25, whatever it is. But the referees felt it wasn't a catchable ball. The ball was thrown a little bit behind him. It's a little bit behind him. McCrary gets the hand in. He had his left arm hooked, but hey, you got to stop him.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Ray McDonald trying to run that out pattern, slipped and fell, and Saskatchewan will be kicking again with 4:11 left.
Austin anticipated the break very well. He threw it on the break, but the problem was the receiver didn't get up. He slipped, and now he's lucky it went incomplete.
How costly those 2 third down gambles may prove to be for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, particularly the one down at the 4-yard line.
Boy, that was a big one. That was a big defensive play by the Stampeders.
Good kick. That is going to chase Dennis back to the 10-yard line. He gets out to about the 17, tackled by Ernest. 3:51 is the time left to play. That was a 58-yard kick and a 9-yard run back. Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders started quickly with 10 points, but then their attack has stalled, and the Calgary Stampeders have scored a touchdown in each of the first, second, and fourth quarter, all of them by Larry Willis.
Big series, depending on who you're for. Calgary needs to move it out of that field goal area or touchdown area, and Saskatchewan needs to get them 2 and out.
Screen pass to Petrus. Petrus is out across the 25, stopped by Eddie Lowe and Richie Hall. Stampeders head home immediately after the game tonight to prepare for Winnipeg on Wednesday. John Gregory's Saskatchewan Roughriders will remain here at home to get ready for the Toronto Argonauts on Friday.
Well, we see the Hamilton Tiger Cats next week. The Toronto Argonauts are starting to come to form. They're preseason favorites, and they're starting to put things together and don't lose too much contact with them, and that's the position Hamilton will be in next week because Toronto plays Friday.
2nd and 4. Warman fakes, runs for the first down. You predicted that play might be coming.
Yeah, every time he's run that sweep, the backside defensive end hasn't stayed home, and it was only a matter of time.
So the Calgary Stampeders are 252 away from their 3rd straight win.
Derek Jeter, humanitarian, leader, athlete, for the Movado Precision Timepiece Series 800. The art of performance. Movado Series 800.
Hola, este es el nuevo motor Rocket E8 de Motorola. Parece un teléfono, pero con solo tocar el botón usa la rueda de navegación para buscar entre tus contactos y si pones al modo musical
Well, Larry Kuharek has to be very pleased with the way his defensive unit has performed tonight, particularly when they stopped the Riders down on the 4-yard line on a 3rd down gamble in the 3rd quarter. They kept the Roughriders off the board when Saskatchewan had the wind. And now with 2:47 remaining, it's Calgary 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Petros is going to be thrown back by Jurison and Curry. And we remind you that this program is copyrighted and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited. Second and 8, sideline pattern, and Willis slipped. And the Roughriders will get the ball back. 2:22 remains.
Same thing as Austin did a while ago. Anticipated the break well, threw it on a break, receiver fell down.
Richie Hall and Joe Fuller both retreat for this 3rd down kick by Glenn Harper. He stands at the 17-yard line. High snap, he hauls it down. A short kick. And Fuller trying to field it, slips initially. It's picked up by Richie Hall, and it draws a flag. A no-yards call almost certainly will go against the Calgary Stampeders to improve the Saskatchewan field position following that 41-yard kick by Glenn Harper. 2:10 is the time left to play. 21-16, Calgary leads Saskatchewan.
No yards. Calgary number 47. 1st down, Saskatchewan.
When Kuharek looks at the films, he's going to say the guy that was in the no yards backed out and never got involved in the play. Which he didn't, but it's 15 yards in big field position for the green.
1st and 10 from the 53. Austin to Milson Jones. And he has 3 Stampeders there to drive him down, led by Lamont Jeffers and Chris Major.
Keep him in bounds. Keep that clock running. Down to about 2 minutes. The referee will signal time in, and the clock will start. He didn't get out of bounds.
Gain of 4 for Milson Jones. The clock running as the Rough Riders' Kent Austin moves up over the ball. Incomplete, penalty flag. This time Chris Major is called against Ray McDonald.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 20. First down, Saskatchewan.
You know what, number 3, McCrary's down there. You know what he's arguing about? That he tipped the ball. That's what he's saying. Major did interfere with the receiver. There's no doubt about that. But McCrary's argument is he tipped the football. Let's take a look, see if he does. The ball is thrown. He didn't touch the ball.
Draw play with Milson Jones. And he is stopped as he got to about the 33-yard or 38-yard line by Jeffers and Finlay. 1:42 is the time left to play. The Rough Riders have been able to put it in the end zone only once tonight. They have to make it 2 touchdowns if they're going to win this ball game. They don't have time to kick 2 field goals. This pass is knocked down by Jeffers. Jeffers had dropped back with the slot back, Ray Elgard.
See, Austin makes the right read. Again, they go to the zone, so when that receiver hooks to the outside, Elgard, he tries to hit him, but Jeffers this time almost intercepted it. Well, they got to go after this one.
3rd and 6. Wally Buono, one of the assistant coaches, shouting some instructions to that defensive unit. They get the first down, and it's Tim Pierce who makes the catch, his first reception of the night.
Only reception of the night, and what a big one it is. A long throw by Austin. He came back on the right hash, threw it to the wide side of the field, found him wide open, but now they are within striking distance of that end zone.
At the 19-yard line. 1:13 remaining, the clock running. The Rough Riders trailing by 5. Austin, end zone, touchdown! Pierce comes right back. And John Gregory yelling for a 2-point conversion. The Rough Riders lead by 1. Leading by 2 won't do them any good should Calgary get into field goal range.
Time to go for 2. Pearson's first touchdown of the year. Go for 2. The single point does you absolutely no good. A field goal beats you. A field goal now tied if they make it. So you got to go get for the 2-point conversion. Good call by John Gregory. That was a good pattern by Pierce. Went down, faked like he was going to the outside, came right back into the middle, and nobody near him once he cleared the linebackers.
Only the second catch of the ball game for Tim Kearse, but what an ideal time to come up with those 2 receptions on the 3rd down gamble. And then right back with the touchdown catch in the end zone to put Saskatchewan ahead. And now Austin will try and go for 2. He's got it as he hits McDonald.
So let's take a look at Tim Kearse on the touchdown. He's to the right of your screen. He goes down, fakes to the outside, comes into the middle. Watch when he gets behind the linebackers. Nobody there. All you have to do is throw it to him. He makes the catch. Austin makes this play happen. good coverage by the secondary. Now right here, a little pressure. Looks like he's going to run. Then he just pulls up, and that gives McDonald time to get back inside and make the catch.
So with 1:02 remaining, as John Gregory celebrates that touchdown and two-point conversion, the Roughriders have a 24-21 lead, and in the minds of Saskatchewan fans, the hero at the moment is quarterback Ken Austin. The time remaining. A short kickoff, and Darcy Kopp will bring it back to the 53. Now the Calgary Stampeders have 57 seconds left. I'm surprised at that kickoff.
They must be afraid of Derek Holloway's kickoff return ability, because, I mean, with 57 seconds, you want that ball as far downfield as you can get it. Maybe kick the line drive, but have it hit the ground deep. They only have 55 yards to go in 57 seconds. That's not too hard to do. And a timeout.
And J.T. Hay, should he attempt the field goal, will have the wind at his back. Warman is sacked by James Curry. Back at the 43-yard line.
Well, we said that rush had been getting closer all night. That's one of the reasons they like to rest that defensive lineman, so in the fourth quarter they're fresh. And watch them collapse the pocket. Here comes Goldsmith, Curry, Jurison, and Lewis. That's all four of them.
50 seconds remaining with the clock running. Sideline pattern, and the catch is made by Larry Willis. That will be a first down.
That was a nice throw, well-timed pattern. Willis went down, he threw it at the sideline, and Willis made the catch, keeping that foot down inbounds.
I like the composure of quarterback Rick Warman. Remember in the first quarter where he had a touchdown called back, throwing to Manuel Tolbert, coming right back to hit Willis with a touchdown in the end zone. Sacked by James Curry, comes right back with a first down pass to Larry Willis.
Big series for him.
Pass is complete for another first down to Willis at the 34-yard line. We could have our first overtime game of the season. 37 seconds remaining. Albright and Lowe trying to pressure Rick Warman. And now Calgary attempting to go with the hurry-up offense. 6 passes for Larry Willis. 3 touchdowns the result. It's intercepted. Glenn Sutter picks off the throw by Rick Warman. He has a convoy heading for the end zone. He's stripped of the football. Who's got it? It appears as though Tim Petrus may have got it back. 16 seconds remain. 75 yards on the interception run back by Glenn Sutter.
Calgary gets the ball back, but I don't like their chances. I liked it better when they were down there. Good return by Suter. Excellent return. Watch one, throws it into the middle, coming from the left side of the screen. That's the guy that causes it. Excellent. As you say, picked up a convoy of blockers, brings it down to around the 25-yard line, and he fumbles, but only 16 seconds left, so Calgary doesn't have time to mess around.
Rick Warman won't be able to throw it as Goldsmith gets the sack.
Well, Goldsmith had 5 sacks coming in. He gets number 6. The pressure in the fourth quarter has been great by that front 5.
11 seconds remaining, and Vince Goldsmith with that sack now has 100 career sacks. And there are only 2 other players, James Parker and Grover Covington, who have gone over the century mark. No opportunity for Tony Dennis to run with the football as he was stopped immediately by Albright with just 3 seconds remaining.
Tony Dennis. Next home game is next Friday night.
Well, big defensive effort by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. when it appeared as though Calgary might be driving for a possible tying field goal or a game-winning touchdown. Toner on the sidelines, but it's too little and too late as the gun sounds to end the ball game with the Roughriders hanging on for a 24-21 win to move into a first-place tie with Edmonton in the Western Conference.
Well, John Gregory said it was going to be a different ball game. Koharic said it was going to be a war. I would say they were both right. An excellent defensive football team both ways. Saskatchewan had their opportunities, and they finally made it in the last shot. Touchdown to Kearse.
Well, John Gregory said his team would be ready to play tonight's ball game, and they certainly started as a fired-up football club, and they finished in much the same fashion. In between, they had a bit of a minor slump, but the end result is really all that matters, and Saskatchewan wins at 24-21 to move into a first-place tie in the West with Edmonton.